Why is the countdown not going on? I'm live.
No.
And the countdown didn't start. Okay.
How's it going, guys? Matt here with Carolina Coops. Welcome to Video Chicken. To my left is my host, Kristen Warren.
I think this one really could be a male.
Oh, we got one that's hatching? This show is for you guys. This is the bass fiber. Y'all know chickens are the gateway drug into homesteading.
We survived with only one trip to the ER.
Coyotes are everywhere.
It's about time you show up, Matt. It's a great straw.
It is time, finally, for Chicken Police. They defecate every 12 seconds. Is that true? Now it is officially noon because the buzzer went off.
Well, I've never counted.
Long
More
road.
coops.
That's a good one with the cords and
They
everything.
won't
And
work.
more chicken.
Well, the mask you got your now, Daddy, is Chicken Man.
Calm down, Matt.
But-
Calm down.
You're kidding me.
Hi, Matt. How are you today?
Oh my God.
Hi, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. As if today wasn't gonna be difficult enough.
No, it's not going to be difficult. It's a great day.
Where are your headphones?
The ones I took home last week?
Please tell me you brought them.
No, we have new ones.
Okay, you're gonna have to find an adapter. If you were here in pre-show, we would be set up for this. But now, what's going on, guys? Matt with Carolina Coops, coming to you live from Creedmoor, North Carolina. This is Video Chicken. And also, it is December, what's today? December 10th?
Yes.
I also want to make sure we put a timestamp out there. December 10th, 2021. We are live. Sitting to my left is our Chickenista sales girl,
Yeah.
unprepared with her headphones, without her headphones.
Excuse me, let me go find-
Yeah, you better make this right
Yeah,
soon, because
excuse me.
today we have a guest.
I know. I watched a bunch of her stuff. She's wonderful.
And you can't hear her if you don't have the headphones. So now what you don't understand is she's smiling right now. The hell I'm going to pay after the show. Being like, how dare you? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. So what we have to do, can you do me a favor? Find your headphone. They're down there. They are here. You didn't take them home.
No, I took home my son's.
All right, guys. So sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed that promo. I noticed that we did start it early. We had it muted, and I'm not sure if it worked until later, like halfway through it. But there's already compliments for the promo. Good job, Ingrid. And
I do love that promo.
loved everyone. We're gonna give everyone a chance to come in here, and if just please say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. This show is for you guys. We're gonna officially. All right, check. How do I sound? Can you hear me?
Great. Everything's wonderful.
All right. Can you hear Ingrid now? I just want to make sure your headphones are working.
Can you hear me, Kristen?
Yes. Perfect. All right. Perfect. All right. Again, coming to you live from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Video Chicken. It is December 10th, 2021. Now I think we're ready. We have a guest today. It's been a while. I'm so excited about this guest, and I'm glad you got your headphones so you can hear her.
That's
Yes.
right.
All right. Now I want to let everyone know I'm going to be a baby. I am sick. I am slightly feeling better. I almost wasn't going to do the show. Not because I'm sick. 'Cause I can be a little salty when I'm sick. And I have to worry about me getting mad. So This is North Carolina Matt, not New York Matt. I think we're ready to
Meaning
go.
generally you're in a better mood when you're
Right.
there.
So, and then truth be told, so you went and got the paints this morning with your daughter.
Yeah, we spent some time at the art store. We're going to be doing your logo on the wall with paint, and the paint store, the art store, just happened to be next to a pet store. And it's Take Your Cat to Work Day.
It is Take Your Cat to Work Day.
So we have a cat from my selection.
Now, hold on. Just so you know, Nan is just hearing about it now. So
I told her when she was showing us the picture the other day of the cat that she likes. Didn't I say it was Take Your Cat to Work Day?
you said a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
right.
it's easy to say things and actually come through with
Yeah,
it, which
that's
you
true.
did, because I heard meowing coming from your office this morning. So my daughter, obviously, so she just got out of school, so she's taking a beeline. No, she doesn't go to one, so she's got to be going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Again, if you guys are watching, which obviously if you hear me, you are. We are live right now, and this show is for you guys to ask any of your questions. Chicken coops, chicken coop building, chickens, of course. And again, today...
And possibly cats.
Cat.
Oh, yeah, and that is Ingrid. We do have her back again. I did take a COVID test just for her. And,
Well, it was for all of us, really.
well, that makes it sound, but I wanted Ingrid to feel, no, because
No,
then she's
it's-
now I
but-
want people to feel comfortable. I do not have COVID, so I need to say that for the record as well. That is very important.
COVID-free zone.
COVID-free zone, yes. I want everyone to feel comfortable. Isn't that right, everyone that works for me? So, Ingrid, I'm glad you're here. We cannot do this show without you. It's so hard. And after last week's show, do we have any pictures that we can show what we did after last week's show?
I can try to find them.
Yeah, if you could try to find them, because we had to kind of mess with the studio in here so we could take some pictures on this
yeah.
beautiful rope wrap roost bar.
It all blurs. I have a hard time remembering.
It does. And can you believe we're here already?
Yeah.
I feel like we were just here. So we had to kind of piece the studio back together. So we had to move a bunch of stuff around. And so anyways, so it is already 12:05, and I have not had a chance. Have you had a chance to review Ingrid's show notes yet?
No, I just got here with my daughter and my cat and my paints and
Oh, there's
Cat
a
food
great
and-
shot.
Do you want me to
Yes.
share that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I think people get a kick out of seeing what happened after the show. And we got some great pictures. And the reason why we were taking the pictures of the chicken is to get her fluffy butt and her beautiful legs, which we had to bathe her because she ended up having stress defecation, I think we called it. And
Let me see if I can get something.
cleaned her legs, got some, I don't know, like 1,000 pictures of her on this roost bar so that we can have this official sticker on the box or boxes for the rope wrap roost bars.
Was there a casting call for that? Because I've got some chickens that would look lovely on there, and I'm sure the president of Chickenlandia also has some.
President of Chickenlandia. I love that name, by the way. I can't wait
Yes.
to ask her where that came from.
Well, she's in the Pacific Northwest.
So she got lost, so she come back in. All right, there she is back in the green room. Not sure what happened there, but
That's okay.
all right. So 12:15, we're gonna have a guest speaker on, and so she is who Dalia. Mm-hmm. Dalia, and Dalia does what? Let's talk about Dalia a little bit before we bring her in.
We should let her introduce herself.
No,
well-
I think you should introduce
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we
Okay.
should absolutely introduce her because we're gonna interview her. So you said she's the president of Chickenlandia.
Yeah, she does backyard chicken education
So this
on
is
YouTube and other social media.
very nice. So this
Yes,
is like
yes.
Bob Davis back in the
Yes.
day, a local.
She reminds me a lot of myself, actually.
I'm not
We could,
surprised.
we could definitely.
I'm
hang.
not surprised about that.
I'm
So-
trying to,
Very relatable.
I
Right.
muted her so she could be in her house.
Mm-hmm.
But now I need to unmute her because I want her to chime in soon.
So just so you know, and this is a sad statement, but you know what? I'm proud of this. I mean, Mackenzie already, and she hasn't been here that much. North Carolina Matt is way, capital letters, right? That's exclamation, that's yelling, way different than North
Hey, what
Carolina
happened to
Matt,
our back-
for sure. Huh?
What happened to our backdrop?
I changed to comments.
Oh, okay. It was-
I'm screwed. This is where Ingrid gets mad at me too.
No, I'm fine.
I wasn't making that up. It's one of the reasons why I had to come back to North Carolina. New York Matt was killing North Carolina Matt. And I didn't like it.
Oh, the split personalities.
Right. So, and did we have, there was some last minute comments that came in last week from last week's show that I wasn't sure if we had a chance to talk.
We do answer comments after the show, actually.
Yeah, I had my thing here, but we'll get to them.
All right. So we have Dalia, the president of Chickenlandia, and we're going to have her on at 12:15, and we're going to, what are we going to do? Are we going to ask her about what she does?
Right.
Are we going to pick her brain? I know there's some questions that have come up that maybe we can get her expert
I
advice
have a
on.
few questions for her.
Awesome. I love that. All right. So before we begin, I wanted to do something, and we have just enough time. I've learned something yesterday, other than I hate being sick. We're going to do a quick experiment. Now, it is winter time. It is cold, especially up north, and people love our heated water systems, yes?
Yes.
Yes, they do. And one of the things I learned, and so here's what happened. We had a customer call yesterday, and she said, my barrel is frozen. And I said, well, that means something's wrong with your heater. And I always want to know, how do we troubleshoot it? So if you're not familiar with this is a 1,000-watt heater that comes on with a relay, so it's a thermostatic switch, and they are great. They'll keep 50 gallons of water thawed all the way down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is one of the major key components in our heated water system. And the heated water system will not work if one part is, if there's a kink in the chain, if you will. So I've learned how to troubleshoot your heater to find out if it is not working or working, and or more importantly, you know what the manufacturer said? They said before it gets cold out, that you need to check that it is going to work, and by checking it also, for lack of better terms, resets it. So you have a little metal relay in there that's adjusted by temperature, and sometimes it can get stuck. So we need to shock it. So what I want to do real quick is we're going to take this out.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I know. See, yay.
And they're not easy to get out of that rain barrel.
It's not horrible. All right, so we're going to get at it because you have to keep it in the freezer for an hour. And so I want to go and get this started. And I don't know if Nan is listening. So Nan,
It's a good thing I don't have very many standards as far as what I put in my freezer.
Can
Very low
Oh, wait, I have a pen
standards.
right here. So, and I was going to do our first TikTok video of this. And I thought I could do it under 60 seconds. And of course, before I even started the timer on the stove, Jetta's like, no, Daddy, you got to do 3 minutes now. So we're going to open this up. Now, I also learned something.
Have to.
Huh? Or talking to your
have
mic. I
to.
can't. It's
You don't have to do 3 minutes.
See, perfect right there. No, you're right. But with me, I mean, come on now. All right. So now I also learned something else. This is very important for the record. All right. I learned some amazing stuff. Now, if you have one of our heated water systems, or you just are thinking about getting this, whatever, trust me, this is good information. The Model H, let's show that, see if you guys can see that. I don't want to get too close because it's not going to focus. Take my word for it. Model H409. That means this is a 1,000-watt heater that will not heat up your water where it's warm. It gets it up to like 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's the potential wattage, right? It doesn't always go, or does it turn on
That's
and
what I
off?
thought. I tell you, I've
don't
been
know.
wrong. It comes on, it comes off. Okay.
Okay.
So I pull it out. And I said, you got to make sure it's the H409. So this is the H409, and check the stamp, because that's how you're going to prove that you have an H409. Because if you have a W409, it's actually going to heat the water up, so it's really, really warm. I pull it out.
Oh.
I pull it out. What's that say right there?
W. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. I feel like I need to write that down.
Well, now hold on, and the story goes on. Oh yeah, story goes on. So I called up the manufacturer right away and asked them. I said, one, how can we troubleshoot these? And number two, what's going on here? Why is it W409? Now, I want for the record, before I say what I say, I love this company. Every vendor that we decide to partner with and promote their product, it's not just because it's a great product. And, you know, I do obviously try to get as much American made. This is not American made, but it's an American company. Either way, I love good customer service, because when you're in business, there's safety in numbers, and you need people to fight for you. And that's what we love to do for our customers, right? Well, our vendors better do the same thing. So I get them on the phone right away. I'm on the phone with the higher ups, and they said, Matt, to be honest with you, and this is just like us. See, I got goosebumps just thinking about this because I can relate. They said, we ran out of the casting for the H409, but in order to keep up with demand, we had to use the W409. And he said, Matt, we hated we had to do it, but that's what we had to do to get the product to the customer. So I thought that was fascinating. One, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Because God knows we do.
Yeah, and it's nice they had a workaround.
They had a workaround. What I do wish, and it probably would have caused more confusion, that maybe that said that in here.
Yeah, but exactly. That's what happens with us. The more you try to explain, the more confused people get.
Or maybe someone on the assembly line with a Sharpie could have just.
That's not bad. And also notice too, where's the bite guard? So you wouldn't know it, but if you've seen some of our older ones, they can't get the coil, the metal coil that goes around here to prevent if you're using this around cattle, to keep cattle from chewing on it. So anyways, all right, here's what we need to do. We need to get this in the freezer. Oh, and here's a big one. So when we were doing the custom coop out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, our customer said, Matt, I have a high, or how can I word it? She's allergic to aluminum. That's what she said. And there's aluminum everywhere. So I'm not going to get into details. I'm just not smart enough to know that. But she asked me, is this going to be safe for people that are allergic to aluminum? So I called up again the manufacturer. I asked them yesterday about that. They said that the trace that could potentially ever end up in your body from using this is so low, it's almost undetectable. However, they do have a solution. And I wanted to share that solution with our customer out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, this big, beautiful custom coop right here. Thank you for bringing that up, Ingrid. And also for everyone out there that they have copper. They have another heater just like this. It looks a little different. It looks like a butterfly, not a ring donut. That is copper. And around it is a galvanized cage, if you will, to keep it off the plastic. Because the problem is, if that copper touches the plastic, you're going to melt a hole in your barrel. Here, you don't have to worry about it. That's the beauty of aluminum. So there is an option. But if you remember doing shows, I don't know, 20, 30 shows ago when we had my beloved science teacher on, Mr. Chaffin, it's amazing. There's still going to be lead in copper. It's just nuts. But the point is, I'm going to share this with my customer and let them make the decision. That's what I want to do, is give them the choice. We're trying to make sure we learn about the products that we offer as much as possible. Okay, great. Here's Nan. So, Nan, can you come in sporting the, it's tie-dye Friday. I would like for you to put this in the freezer. So it's 12:15. So the minimum is 15 minutes. All right, there we go. Just put that right in the freezer and put it in the bottom of the freezer because that's where it's really cold. That's where we put the beer to warm or cool it down, right?
And the pork chops.
Actually, we put it on top of the peas.
I see some questions coming in, so thank you. We are going to get to your questions. And I love, I saw a lot of the comments from last week's show. They were so happy that we were able to focus on the comments.
Okay, it's 12:15.
Yes, it is 12:15.
All right, can you unmute her? Because I'm having problems. Please. My friend.
Well, I am going to do the best. All right, so this is...
We should put something in the... Well, does she have something for the background? Oh,
No,
well, we're going
no.
to be seeing her. Okay.
All right, so we're going to bring in Dalia.
That's great.
This is the president of Chickenlandia. What a great... I just love saying Chickenlandia.
Yeah,
I kind of wish I
fantastic.
would have got that one. So we're going to bring her in out of the green room. So which scene are you in? You're in this one. We're going to go down here. And so you edit all this stuff out, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, Nan says her mic isn't on.
Yes. All right, let's focus.
You know what I realized this week? I am so focused. I'm hyper focused. I'm able to focus on multiple things that
I
people
don't
are like,
know
oh,
about
you're
that.
getting squirreled. What I will prove it. Didn't you?
Yeah, we had an interview at the top here.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, yeah, we use your chickens for the interview, and it needs to be unlocked, which it is. And we're going to bring in Dalia. There's Dalia. Hey.
Now she's
And there she is. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Oh.
I'm
Yes,
good.
there you
I'm
are.
Super happy to be here.
Wonderful. So nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
We have a delay, a big delay.
Well,
Not
she
sure.
said her internet isn't the best out where she is.
So I
I'm
apologize.
noticing that.
All right, so we're gonna try to get through this. Again, thank you so much for being here. It might make it a little bit cumbersome, but we're gonna give it hell. All right. Yes, this delay. This
That's good.
we didn't have a problem with the delay earlier.
No, not everything works when we test.
oh yes.
Of course it does. Everything works when we test, and now there's a delay. I may try to restart it. Let's see if we can't speed this up or if there's anything we can do, because the delay just makes it... We've tried this before, and it makes it so difficult.
Yeah, we can just... Maybe it was how long she was in the green room.
Possibly.
Yeah, let's just
Yes, and for
reconnect.
Dalia, we
Yeah.
will do it. For
Yeah.
the president of Chickenlandia. All right, so Dalia, if you
Thank
could
you.
just call us back, and we're going to try to do this again, okay?
Just
All right.
reconnect, yes.
Reconnect. All right, sorry about that, folks. We're gonna try to bring her in because I know it's not worth doing if we have that delay.
Yeah.
So internet, unfortunately, has to be.
So in the meantime, people can check out Welcome to Chickenlandia, which is Dalia's website, just like it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have her website sitting on the website that we can share that?
I will get that once we get her going.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was watching her on YouTube. It was a lot of great content.
Yeah. She's...
All right, Dalia, how are we sounding now?
You sound great.
Oh, that's wonderful. So much better.
Yeah, there's a little less of a delay.
Oh,
Yeah.
there none at all. Yeah.
Call me IT man. Mhm.
Oh, the old unplug it and plug it back in. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dalia, okay, so we're gonna get right into it. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank
Whereabouts are you coming from right now?
I'm in Washington. I'm in Northwest Washington.
The Pacific Northwest.
Thus, Chickenlandia.
Yes, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
One of our favorite areas. We got some beautiful custom coops. We're headed back out there. I tell you, we our first custom coop was Vashon Island. Vashon. I always say it wrong. How far are you from Vashon Island? And am I saying it wrong?
I don't know. I'm not. That's a pretty small island, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
near
I
Seattle.
don't know
yeah.
how far. 2 hours.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
All right, so let's get right into it. Please tell me your background. How did you start? Everyone loves to hear this.
Yeah. Who introduced you to chickens? How did you come up with this idea? Because I did hear that you're from Dallas, suburban Dallas. So that's similar to me.
Yes, I am originally from Duncanville, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. I lived all my early years in the suburbs. I was very disconnected from, the land that we were on. I didn't grow up with chickens. Now my family from Guatemala, they had chickens. But, my parents moved here in the 60s and, they were just working, and that was something that we didn't do. We just ate food from the grocery store, and that's how it was.
That's the same with me.
And I know, a lot of people have that similar experience. And then I was like, I was going to be a famous writer, for TV and movies. I was going to be a talk show host, anything but like a chicken educator. That was not in the plan at all.
Yeah.
And I did go to Hollywood, and I was like a personal assistant. I did some writing when I was there.
Did you meet anyone famous in
But-
Hollywood?
I did. I met a lot of famous people.
Who's your favorite, most
And
famous
you know what?
person you
They're
met?
The most famous person?
Your favorite, most famous person?
David Arquette is probably my favorite.
Who's the
I
one
don't
that
know if
was
you
the
know him.
meanest to you? Or
I
around
can't
you?
say.
Okay. I just
can't
want to
say,
because
but she's
people want to
really
know.
famous.
Whatever.
Yeah, the nitty
Well,
gritty.
here goes Matt, the elephant in the room. I mean, everyone wants to know. I love when I get to talk to my buddy that works at the Capitol Police, and you get to hear the real stuff about the politicians. It's fascinating. But anyways, this is a chicken show. All right, so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's okay. But yeah, I did that whole thing, and then I started to get, I was like into my 30s, and I'm like, I think I'm going to settle down and like kind of have a regular life. And so we moved up here to Bellingham, and we had our first child. And I just decided I needed something for myself. And it just happened to be, I was like, okay, I'm going to get some chickens, but I had no idea how they would just, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but they just ignited this passion in me. And I just connected with them, and they really, at the time I was struggling with postpartum depression, and I'm not saying chickens are a cure for postpartum depression. That's
I
not
think
what I'm
you just
saying.
did on record, and I'm going with that one.
We're going to put that
My
on a box.
disclaimer is word.
They are good for mental health. I know that.
No, they
much.
are. It's everything you're saying I can relate to as if they were my own words. And I know so many people watching can relate. I mean, I found my passion late in life, or, like you said, in my 30s. And I totally understand. Yeah.
And
never
I
too
really
late.
was feeling like I had let go of all these dreams because I had like these really lofty dreams as a kid and really into young adulthood. I had these big dreams. And so I was kind of mourning that loss because, you know, we get older, we have to adult. We go,
We do?
we're living in reality. Yes. Some of us. So, you know, I was mourning that, and then I brought these chickens into my life, and I just became so passionate about them, and everybody started, you know, sending me, and I'm sure this happens to you guys too, but if there's any like chicken meme or funny chicken thing on social media, they started sending them to me, and I was like posting all these pictures of chickens and everything. And then at some point, the local community college was like, "Hey, would you like to teach a class on chickens?" And I was like, okay. It was just not even something that I was thinking about. But naturally, people were starting to ask me questions, and I really resisted it at first because I was like, "Look, you know, I didn't grow up with chickens, and I didn't consider myself an expert at that point." But after a while, it was like, you know, I think this is like my destiny. And then I started to see how I could incorporate some of those dreams that I had as a child into the world of chicken keeping and into the world of education. And so that's really my thing right now. I mean, there's so many backyard chicken educators. I mean, there are like a dime a dozen right now. And I think that's great. I love that, actually. But what I want to do is really inspire people and connect them with this practice that really, you know, humankind has been doing this for thousands of years. You know, we domesticated the chicken a really long time ago, and they have a shared experience, and we have this shared experience with each other. And so that's my goal, is to really bring people together through chickens.
The power of chickens.
So-
Yes.
It's It's absolutely incredible. So I just want our listeners, in case you're just joining us, Dalia from Chickenlandia is live right now with us, coming from the Pacific Northwest, and we're just going over a couple questions and picking her brain on some things. But I tell you, that is why, and this brings back memories when Kristen, and again, I'm glad you're back selling chicken coops. When you sold chicken coops originally, you would always ask that to people, what got you into chickens? And I'm always like, God, why didn't I think of that question? Because that is so important, especially when you're in the business of chickens. And once again, chickens come to the rescue unexpectedly. And in this case, all right, postpartum depression, which you mentioned that right after you had your child. So was that related, I'm assuming? Because I know there's some kind of
related to having a child,
yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, postpartum and having a child.
Okay, I just wanted to, so here's the important thing. Is one, 'cause I remember Nan going through this, and I'm like, oh my God, I've known this girl 20 years before. What just happened? But it's normal, and thank God that's, you know, all that happens, because that is crazy what you women go through to give birth. Anyways, but that, you know, I always love to share with people, you know, obviously chicken keeping, and you know, we're all about the coop, and if you have the right coop, chickens are easy. But I find a lot of people are on the fence. And that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about. You know, as a chicken educator, I'm going to assume, you know, we're talking a lot about chickens, this and that. But do you come across a lot of people that are on the fence? And if so, what do you find are some of the things that they finally go, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this, or that's going to convince my husband, or that's going to convince my partner to go with having chickens?
Yeah, well, I think what's kind of unfortunate, and I certainly had this experience, is when you're starting out and you go online and you're like, okay, I'm going to, you know, backyard chickens 101, I'm going to type that into the search, and all this stuff comes up. And there's so many different philosophies, and there's so many different schools of thought, and every philosophy and school of thought is very adamant that that is the only way that you can do it. And it's, you know, there's this idea, and it's mainly in the Western world, because if you travel the world, you're going to find that people keep chickens and it's really not a big deal, you know, because people have been doing it forever. So, but there's this idea that it's a complicated thing, that you need to have special skills, that you need to have special equipment. Now, I'm not against bells and whistles, and let me tell you, a Carolina coop is like, that's on my vision board, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Extra, 100% extra. I love it. Uh, so, but really, this is in our DNA. We were made to do this. And I think that if that's what's holding you back, if you feel like, oh, I just don't know enough, or I'm scared, or, how am I going to do this? You got this. And that's really like, that's my purpose, is to reconnect people with that idea. And I think right now, a lot of people, and certainly people in the suburbs and in the cities, they're feeling really, really helpless,
right,
and really hopeless,
disconnected,
and disconnected. And they wonder, what can I do? This, the world around me is getting really intense, and what can I do to change that?
So I'm hearing peace and hope from chickens. Isn't that amazing? Now, I also want to...
I wrote down DNA because I think that was a really, really cool that you said, and I hadn't thought about that. It really is in our DNA because people have been keeping chickens for so long. That is a really good point that I hadn't thought of.
It absolutely is. And I also wanted to mention, before I forget, this is my first time, and I believe yours, talking to Dalia.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, obviously, Carolina Coops pays for this video, pays for Video Chicken Live, and this is a way to promote our product. But more important, what I've learned is I want people to realize you can have chickens.
Right.
Okay? And we're going to share with you what we have learned. And Dalia's right. Everyone's got their own opinion, but it's not the only way. But as we continue this conversation, what I want people to realize is I can't wait to hear what things maybe we agree on. Because when I tell people, go out and do your research. And anytime you do research, I like to look for the common denominators and what just makes sense. And often, she's already mentioned things, don't overcomplicate it, keep it simple. I often tell people, think about what did chickens do before coops were invented? And once you educate yourself on that, you'll see why we do what we do in our coops. We're just going to make it really, really pretty, because why not? But I want people to realize I love hearing the things that we have never talked about. And I want to get into the things that I haven't had a chance to talk to Dalia about, getting her opinion. Like, what do we do to keep it simple? What do we think about the deep litter system? She may or may not have ever done that. And she already gave us a 2 thumbs up on our chicken coop. I am not paying her to do that. I can't wait to hear and kind of dive in. What is it about the Carolina coop that you like, and maybe things we can improve on? Just that open conversation. So again, for the record, we are not paying Dalia a penny, right, Ingrid? I don't think we are.
We are not. And again, it's welcome to...
not paying me?
Check the mail. No, it's welcome to Chickenlandia, for people that haven't familiarized themselves with Dalia, and her website and her videos, which are so informative.
Do we have her website up?
I do. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, and I love that flag and the logo. That's just fantastic.
And I believe that she has a lot of bantams too. Is that true, Dalia?
Oh,
you
she
muted her.
got muted? No, I didn't mute her. Hold on. It muted when I switched to that. I don't know why.
Okay.
All right. So I wanted to show her website. I want to show people. So definitely go to, what was the website?
Welcome to Chickenlandia.
Welcome to Chickenlandia.com. Okay, gotcha. Dalia, you're back, right? We hear you?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
perfect. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, so you have a lot of bantams, correct? Or
I do. I have my favorite are itty bitty tiny the smaller the better,
So for our listeners, please explain, what do we mean by bantam?
A bantam is like a miniature chicken. And so there's 2 kinds of bantams. There are true bantams, which would be like a silky, let's see, what else? Sarama is a true bantam. And these are bantams without standard counterparts. And then you have bantams that are basically miniature versions of standard sized chickens or large fowl. And that would be like, your Bantam Barred Rock or your Bantam Rhode Island Red. And I fully encourage people to have both in their flock, like, a bunch of standard Rhode Island Reds and then a bunch of tiny Rhode Island Reds, because that is adorable.
All right, so right there. Okay, right there.
This is just so
and,
freaky.
and I'm telling you,
it's like I'm looking in the mirror.
yeah, shock.
know.
Yeah,
I mean,
imagine that. Yeah,
we need to get together.
And you both wear glasses, and those are gorgeous glasses, by the way.
She's
I forgot
got
to-
all kinds of glasses. They're
I've
all
got
amazing.
a glasses thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank
yeah.
So right there, that is a great point, and that reminds me again. Listen to the common denominators, and that's something I hear you.
I love Bantam.
When I asked you in the very beginning, what is your favorite thing to do in the world of chickens? You said I love setting people up, and I always said down the road that's what I hope to exploit with your employment here to help our customers get set up. And you always said introduce bantams to the flock. Dalia, tell me a little bit more about that. Why think about having bantams as part of your flock?
Well, I think it depends on what your goals are. So you should know if you got your eye on some bantams, but you're not sure, you should know that bantams are bred mainly for their personalities, for their beauty, and for their broodiness. So if you were to get like production breed,
just so true. It's so true.
if you
Just in case.
are you crying? Oh no.
It's so
We're having
emotional.
a moment.
Yes.
Having a moment.
I just love my bantams. That's so true. Like that they're bred not for just eggs, but for personality. And
Yeah,
that's why they're so
not really
cool.
bred.
Yeah.
You know, now there are some hatcheries that are kind of cluing into the idea of a smaller chicken that lays more eggs, and certainly that now that there's more people in the city that are wanting to keep chickens, I think that's a good direction to go in. Because you can keep twice as many bantams in the space of one feeder.
And I told Ingrid they don't count.
They don't count.
They don't count. If you
Sean's
could
like
only have 10,
zero.
you can have 10 in a bantam.
It's math.
Sean
It's
says that
basic
we
math.
have. He says we have too many chickens. I'm like, okay, Midge and Ginger don't count.
Yeah. They don't
We
count.
have 9, not 11.
So that needs to be on the list of Carolina Coops
Or a
t-shirts.
t-shirt, yeah,
Bantams don't count.
They
Right.
don't.
That's brilliant.
In chicken math,
All right,
they don't count.
We're taking that one. That's brilliant. I'll give you a free one. So there you go. There is another common denominator is because they go broody. All right. Can we talk a little bit? Why do we want a bantam to go broody? Why do we want to take advantage of that?
Do you do that?
So first of all, broodiness is the instinct to sit on and hatch out baby chicks. It's the mothering instinct. And bantams have this instinct more than production breeds do. Standards, generally more than standards, and certainly more than your production standards. And especially if you buy them from a hatchery. And so that would be a desirable thing if you want to have baby chicks. It's certainly the more sustainable way or one of the more sustainable ways to expand your flock. Now you have to be aware that you will get roosters if you.
Yeah, as they hatch, straight run.
What happened?
Oh, no. Her internet just dropped.
She'll call back.
Oh, there we are.
Got her.
Oh, boy. Oh, that was getting good, too. All right. So,
Should I do it through the interview here?
so here's what's going on. I have my mouse to override, and then so this is where I drive Ingrid nuts.
Hands off. Okay.
Oh, it hasn't been, it has not been 45 minutes already, has it? No. 45 minutes to an hour in the freezer.
You did say 15. You did say 15.
I'm sick.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go
All
ahead
right,
with the instinct.
So sorry about
Broodiness.
that. Is everything good? Are you there?
Yes.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
perfect. So
Is
instincts.
Is it okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
we're
perfect.
just a little blip.
And so we might have roosters.
So yes, you just need to know that you will get roosters if you're hatching out eggs.
Mhm.
Am I? Is there a big delay?
No,
No,
you're good.
You're doing good so far. Trust
Okay,
me,
good.
you'll hear me.
Okay.
If there is.
Yeah, it is good.
Okay. So, and you have the option of if you have a broody, a chicken that's gone broody, you can go to the farm store and you can get baby chicks that have already been sexed. And sexed means that they've been separated by female and male. If it says straight run, that means they have not been separated by female and male. So you want to get the pullets, and the pullet is I'm just doing the whole 101 here. A pullet is a female chicken that has not reached the point of lay. Okay, so that's what you want to get. And you can take those and you can actually put them under a broody hen.
That's what I did.
And it's a process. There's a process to do it. You can't just like throw them in there because she may reject them. But and that's why some people like to keep bantams. That's how they expand their flocks and
without
grow
the
their
fighting.
flocks.
So I've seen you do this many times. And I tell you, if you're
Every
into
year.
chickens, you haven't done it, it is a must.
It is so fun.
It does bother me when I hear people say, we're going to spray her with water. We're going to isolate her. That
For broodiness, yeah, to break the broody.
To break the broodiness. No, you
No.
don't need to
I
or want to
never.
do that. The other thing is, I was in shock. And Dalia, I'm not sure if you've ever done this, but I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it. And you probably have. I couldn't believe when you had a broody hen and you went and got those day-old chicks. They were sex, so you don't end up with the roosters. But this is after she sat on, non-fertile eggs for, 21 days, if I remember correctly. And you also introduced a couple turkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Baby turkeys. And that worked. It's amazing.
Yes. They're excellent mothers.
Yeah, for all
And I
kinds.
think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful, especially for children, to see that cycle of life.
For all of us, really.
And to see that dedication, that a mother hen usually, some you got to watch them at first because sometimes they get confused and, or maybe they're just not that great of a mother, and that's okay. Everybody's got their place in life.
And I tell you, the other best part is that's fun, and again, we can relate as human beings, is when the mother's like, okay, you're on your own now. And they're still trying to follow mama hen around.
Yeah, when she's done with her maternity.
Yeah,
leave,
and then they're trying to kick them out.
Yeah.
Dalia, I would love to there's questions coming in from our viewers. I can't think of enough for that. For you, are you ready to answer some questions?
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I would like to talk about my TEDx talk because we didn't talk about that. And I'm super proud of it.
We will definitely get to that. I didn't know that. It's probably in the notes. I'm sure. Okay, Ingrid did not laser eye me for a second. So, yeah, we'll definitely get to that. There's really no time limit. We try to end at 1, and then we always spill over to 1:30. But we'll definitely get to that. But I know our listeners, our viewers, love to have us talk to their questions, this and that. So if we could do just a couple, Ingrid, would you like to take the honors? Kristen, someone, or here we go.
I'm looking.
Now, one thing that struck me, I have to say too, that when I saw her videos, she has taken the one of each approach, like I like.
What do you mean by one of each?
I think she knows what I mean.
I don't.
One of each kind of chicken.
Yes. There's too many wonderful kinds out there. Why not just have one of each?
Okay, well, so that was a question of mine. I know a lot of people, they always
Yeah.
ask me, and I can't believe on Pinterest. We don't plug Pinterest enough. Not that we really need it, but we have a huge following on Pinterest. One of the things that Ingrid made that I find people save a lot is Matt's top 25 breeds. And I tell you, the other thing about beginners is they're always asking, what's the
Yeah.
best breeds? And they go online and they read this, they kind of,
Yeah, that bothers me.
it does. So I would love, before we get to the comments, we ask Dalia about her opinion, because I guarantee you she's going to say the same thing.
No, let's see.
Well, hold on, but I got a question that I have to ask. What is your favorite breed?
Oh gosh. See, that's so hard.
And what's your number one? If you could only have one breed of chicken for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Oh boy.
I would pick something that had a naked neck, was tiny and frizzled. And
A naked neck frizzle bantam. Okay.
The Frankenstein. Of
Wow, not
I
at
think
all
it is.
what I was
Make that
expecting her to say.
happen.
Is there such a thing as a naked neck frizzle bantam?
Oh, yes.
Someone's
Not-
on that.
There is.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there is. I mean, there's something called
Somewhere there is.
like a showgirl breed.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is what you're
showgirl,
talking about.
frizzle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, but why stop at one? I mean,
Well, anyways, I just always love to ask that question.
yeah,
But,
that's so
But
interesting.
it needs to be like Sarama sized.
I am not a fan of the naked neck. My God, they just don't look right. But anyways, Ingrid, go ahead. I see
All right,
there's a
well,
question.
Francine, one of our super fans, asked how you came up with Chickenlandia.
Oh gosh. Well, that is a long story, but I'm going to give you the short version. So when I was a kid, my dad, my parents are Guatemalan immigrants. My dad's passed away, but my mom's still with us. And my dad used to listen to shortwave radio, and he would listen to a program where they would play traditional marimba music. And the announcer would start out in the morning and he would go, Chickenlandia. That was like every weekend morning of my life. Chickenlandia. And so it's kind of like a nod to where I came from and a nod to where I am now and what it took to get me here. And I always say everyone's welcome in Chickenlandia. So that's why it's called Welcome to Chickenlandia.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
The chicken world is very diverse.
It is.
Real quick.
It is, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. I want to make sure we're not missing something. What is VOY.FYI? What does that mean? Any idea? Is everything sounding okay? People would tell us if we're not, but I don't know what that VOY.FYI. Or maybe that's a hidden message. I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know.
So Roger, there's no question mark, but I think this is a question.
Yeah.
How does she think about when one chicken passes? Passes what? An egg?
I think
Passes away?
I think passes away. Which happens.
Okay, so how do you feel when you have one of your chickens that pass away?
She lost.
I
You
think,
lost Kiki.
and I think
right?
a lot of. I'm sorry.
You lost Kiki, that little Sarama that you had.
Okay,
That was a
are we
tough
going
one.
to talk about that?
I'm sorry. See,
Okay.
I follow her.
Yes. It's interesting. I always, when the things that I observe in the flock and the things that I experience with my chickens, it's always like a mirror to how I relate with humanity and relate with my family around me. So one thing that I've noticed is that when a chicken dies, I always feel guilty, and it doesn't matter how they died.
Mm-hmm.
It could have like nothing to do with anything that I've done, but I always feel guilty. And that made me think, like, because I think that is a predominant feeling. Sometimes when people die in our lives, we have like this range of feelings. And I try to concentrate on, you know what, like this chicken had a better life than most chickens in the world.
Yeah.
And so I try to focus on that and focus on the positive aspects on it, that really we were lucky to have that experience. And then of course I'll take that into my human world and remember that as well. But when Kiki was, I actually have a tattoo of Kiki on my arm.
Oh. Uh-oh.
No,
Uh-oh.
losing her
Got
again.
slight pause there. We were almost going to get chicken tattoos. I think we still need to.
I have one.
Yes,
I already
you-
started.
Sorry, we lost you there for a second.
Just for a second.
For
Yeah.
a chicken tattoo. And I was just reminding people, I don't know if Evan's watching right now. We almost won Drunken Night. We're all going to get chicken tattoos. I'm glad. Oh, there. Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is a nice tattoo.
Mhm.
It was such a pretty chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute.
That is hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Like-
something that we
Where's
all
your
deal
chicken
with.
tattoo?
I
That is-
don't
that
have
is-
one yet.
that-
But it is something that we all deal with. And, sometimes we do feel ashamed, or we think, oh, there might be a disease and we're not going to talk about it, or whatever. It's just, it can be shameful, especially if you don't know how they died. And usually we don't. I mean, it does just happen. So it is normal.
Right.
It is normal. And it's normal to grieve as well.
So,
Of course.
Yes.
I wanted to get to what Dalia wanted to talk about, because
Yes,
it'll
let's
go
get to
by
that.
so fast. And I promise we're going to get to your questions and comments. There's a couple of them that we all can maybe sit in on and answer. Again, would love to hear Dalia's opinion, but we do need to, don't forget, talk about what she loves about Carolina Coops. I want people that are listening, especially if they're on the fence. What would Dalia say? What is the most important thing to consider? Everyone knows I say it coop all the time, but I would love to hear what she has to say. And going back to this, and I saw that in the notes too. I think there's a
TEDx
theme
talk.
here, is keeping it simple and how to keep it simple. Where so many people, I think when they give advice to make themselves sound smart, they try to overcomplicate it, and it drives me nuts. And we deal with it all the time, where they'll read that one thing and it's stuck in their head. And it's like, oh God, no. But you can't change it. It's so difficult. So I'm curious if she goes through that. But yeah, so it's called what now? Text Talk?
TED Talks.
TED Talks.
It's a TEDx talk.
I have no idea what that is. So Dalia, tell us about this TED. What's it called again?
TED Talk.
TED Talk. So TED,
So-
right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, TED little x. So it's a TEDx talk. There's like the TED Talks, which are the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the TEDx Talks, which are, done locally at universities and but usually it's at a university. So I did one in 2017 at the university, at the Western Washington University. And it was basically just about how, chicken, it was called I Dream of Chickens, and you can pull it up on YouTube. But it's about how chickens are humankind's most amazing common denominator. And if we learn about them and think about their history and think about how they have been part of almost every single culture on the planet and focus on that, then we can find common ground as human beings. So I'm just really proud of it. So that's why I wanted to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
it was
Ingrid.
really is kind of how my theme started.
Absolutely, Ingrid. Can you bring that up on the website just so we can, when it's ready, we can share the screen? Because I want to show everyone. I'm a visual person. I know you smart people love to read this and that. But we got it. I love that picture, by the way.
Great?
Oh my goodness! I wanted to ask her
The
about this.
picture
I
of
mean,
you-
is this photoshopped? Is that for real? She's got to explain.
Of you sitting with all your chickens.
And there, I see a naked neck
Yeah.
up. This is one of the most amazing.
You know the picture we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yes.
this is incredible. So I wanted to ask you about that because I saw that picture all the way down to the boots. I mean, you
the
didn't.
clothes, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't miss one detail.
Yeah, love it.
So Ingrid, just let me know when you're ready for that.
For what do you want me to share now?
Well, I wanted to see the TED
TED
Talks,
Okay.
TEDx
Well,
Talk.
we're at the picture too.
We'll get to that, of course.
And you can get to my TED Talk. You can get to the TEDx Talk from welcome to chickenlandia.com, and you can watch it there.
Yeah, we can just share that
All right, so
there.
let me do this real quick, Ingrid.
And that's just
Thank
her
you.
website right there. It
All right.
has both the picture and the TED Talk.
Right on.
TEDx.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen, and I don't know why her mic got muted, but I think I might know why, so I might unmute it.
Okay.
So give me 1 second because I want to show everyone. Again, we're gonna go back to your website and muted in sound levels. I don't understand why it's muting her.
Well, just scroll real quick. Let's
Well,
just take a look and get back to her.
I might.
Chop, chop.
Thank
Come
you.
on.
Thank
Chop,
you.
chop. She's waiting. Look.
I know she's waiting, but let me tell you what. She's okay with that because we're showing her website.
Well, we don't know if she's okay with that because she's muted.
I am sure she's okay. So here we are. We're going back to Welcome to Chickenlandia. I'm not sure why her mic is muted, so I apologize about that, Dalia. I promise we will come back. So again, welcome to chickenlandia.com. And here's this picture that is just amazing. So, wow. And if you're listening
I want
later
a picture
on,
made with all my chickens.
well, you do, but just,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
this is
right.
obviously a professional photo. And this is one of the disadvantages. I tell you, our podcast numbers are doing really, really well, but they don't get to see anything. So if you are listening to our podcast, definitely make sure you subscribe and come so you know you get a notification for Video Chicken so you can see all what we see live. So we got to ask her about this picture. But I know for our viewers and our listeners right now, you see that. What an amazing picture. I would almost guarantee you a photographer could make a living out of just going around the country for people that want to have a photo like this and have that expertise of, even if you have to bring in chickens. I don't know. I just thought that was incredible. Of course, I can't help but think about the business. So right here is a video on her YouTube channel. I Dream of Chickens. The TEDxW. So that was the Western Washington University. So please definitely go check that out. And yeah, I have not seen this. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, we should watch that later.
Yeah. So
She also offers online courses. So Backyard Chickens 101 online courses.
That's
So you
awesome.
can also get that. It's very reasonably priced, and her information's amazing.
online courses.
That's wonderful.
For right now, I only have one for right now. Definitely, I'd like to do more. But it's called Backyard Chickens 101, a chicken course for everyone.
Oh,
And
that's
it's just
wonderful.
meant to take the confusion out of it, to make it easy, to make it stress-free. I do lean in a natural direction. That's definitely where I land, and in a more sustainable direction. That's where I feel the most comfortable.
All right, so right there, tell me more about, in your words, what do you mean by take a more natural approach?
Well, I think it's important to honor the natural way in which a chicken is supposed to live, and also the natural way in which human beings are supposed to live and coexist with chickens. And what's unfortunate, I think, is that we've taken this practice that for literally millennia has been a sustainable practice that people on any rich people, poor people, middle class people, everybody could do it because it was a very sustainable and simple practice. And we've turned it into something that really uses resources. And while I certainly feed my chickens chicken feed, and I certainly love, like I said earlier, I love the bells and whistles, I think it's important to keep chicken keeping inclusive. And so because of that, I want to make sure that people know that you don't need a lot to keep chickens. So that's, that, and I think that ties really well in with just natural chicken keeping. And that just means that, I don't preemptively medicate my chickens. I'm not against synthetic medications when they are necessary, but it's not the first thing that I reach for, because everything that we put in or on our chickens, we are also putting into the environment.
Right.
And so I think it's really important to remember that it affects not just our little local ecosystem, which is a living and breathing being that, needs all its components, but, it affects our neighbors, it affects our communities, and ultimately it affects the world. And so I will bring that back around and say, when you're doing something so simple as keeping chickens, and you're doing it in a natural and in a sustainable way, you are helping to change the world, even though it seems really like a really small thing. What you're doing is good for the world.
So please, let's dive into that a little bit more in some more detail.
Yeah.
All right. What is natural? Like, tell me about your coop, maybe, or what is it that when you're giving advice to people, when you say keep it natural, keep it simple. And then if I may add to this question, because this just reminded me of something. I see this a lot, and I'm curious, Dalia, if you see this. I love when I feel a lot of customers, especially our custom coop customers, they love us because we really pay attention to all the details. I do try to simplify it, but I love that they want to be critical. But I have had customers try way too hard, try to do everything perfect, and they bomb. Yeah. It breaks my heart to tell them. And then there's people like me and Kristen, and we see other people that hardly do anything. I'm one of the laziest chicken owners, and our chickens thrive. So I'm curious if you see that, but I would love to talk more about, because I know people that are listening is like, okay, what does she mean natural? What is natural? Especially the people that are brand new. What does that mean to raise chickens naturally?
Well, I like to think about how did my great grandmother raise chickens?
That's a good point.
They lived in the trees, and I'm not suggesting that you need to do this, but it's good to always have this as your foundation. So you want to look at things through the lens of how it's been done for millennia, and not through the lens of factory farms.
Okay, well, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there, because am I lying?
No.
Dalia and I have never talked, but this is what I want people to realize.
Yeah, we're all on the same page, really.
And because it just makes sense. And that's how when you're going to learn some more or practice, think about that. Go back to, what did chickens do before coops were invented? It's really just that simple. And I say that all the time. They're in the trees. They have a canopy over their head. They go up there to feel safe, and then think about all that defecation and whatnot going into the soil, everything that's below. We get asked all the time, man, what do I put in my run?
That's the most asked question we get.
What's that? What do you put?
What do you put in your run?
So, and I always tell people, think about the forest floor. I can't stand when they go, well, I'm going to put concrete, which I've seen. Wire. Sand. I love when Nan goes, chickens they didn't live on a beach. Gravel, So again, I know people read this. They read this, and I want to emphasize, and Dalia, I want you to, put your spin on it or your words when it comes to, when people are doing this research, why it's just so important, and focus on what did they do naturally. And you're saying the same thing we're saying.
Well, and it's interesting you bring up sand because, people have really strong feelings about what kind of substrate to use. And what I will say is that there's no right answer. Like, it really depends on where you are, what your climate is. There are chickens that live in tropical environments and they are on the sand, but they're in that kind of environment. There are not chickens in Vermont that are living on the beach. So these are things that, it's nuanced, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be everything is, you're anti this or you're pro this, which is like, that's kind of what's happened to our society, where we're really, you're in the tribe or you're not. But chickens are one tribe. Humanity is one tribe. Chickens are in a flock. The chickens can't survive without the flock. We need each other. We need our different ideas. And so, I think whatever you decide to do and whatever works for you is great. I certainly have my ideas. I'm not a huge fan of sand. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It rains. The sand turns into, like, I don't want a beach in my coop.
So
I have ducks.
I find a lot of people, so they think sand because they want to go in and clean out their run like kitty litter. And I'm thinking, no, you're working too hard. And my opinion, if you ever have to clean out your run, you got too many chickens, or we say it all the time. And I know people can't stand when I say this, the ones that are like, I got predators. We all have predators, but I tell you, chickens at free range are so much happier in so many ways, and the benefits from free ranging. And to me, when I think natural, there's nothing more natural than letting them free range, and it's gonna be again.
I agree. Like, there's this balance between quantity of years of life and quality of life, and we as human beings are really facing this right now. This is stuff that we're really kind of grappling with. And I think that it depends on the kind of person you are. I am somebody that really hates to lose a chicken, and that's okay. That's okay. So if you really just can't stand the idea of losing a chicken, then you might be somebody that wants to keep them in a covered run. And if you do that, I would say, 10 square feet per standard size chicken is a good, that's a good place to start. And certainly the more the better. A lot of people can't afford to do that because it's expensive. It's expensive to cover a whole run.
We know that very well.
Yeah. And that's okay. And you might be the kind of person that's like, you know what? I know I'm going to lose some chickens, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that balance, and that's okay too. So this is just, I say that what I tell people is, when all else fails, turn to your own gut. What feels right to you? And that's probably the right answer. And right. I think that there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of people that only focus on science, and everything has to be proven. But I say, and I do, of course, I'm not denying science, but I think that it's also very important not to let go of those instincts we have as human beings about what feels natural and right to us.
Right.
I've talked to people about it being more of along the same lines, a risk assessment. Yes. It is risky to let your chickens out, but if you have 6, that risk assessment is going to be, okay, well, yeah, like you said, I'm going to keep them protected because I only have 6. If you have 20, you might be okay with losing one a year or whatever it is to a hawk or a daytime predator.
And I tell you, that is one of the...
And that risk assessment is not only how many can you afford to lose, but how many can you afford to emotionally
Right.
lose? So that's exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly
I
right.
mean, that is a great way of putting it, and that was one of the hardest conversations we have with customers all the time. I'll never forget. I had one that she almost hung up on me when I tried to explain to her, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with losing some? And I was like, oh my goodness. So she was like,
Right.
absolutely not. And I'm like, okay, I get that. We're going to help you with that we will listen to you and figure out what we feel is going to work best for you. And I tell you, I think when Dalia mentioned that every situation is going to be different based on where you live is so true as well. And, we don't only talk about that with chickens. We also even talk about the type of chicken coop you should have, where, and that's the beauty of us, especially when you get into the world of custom. We do try to build and offer a one size fits all that's extremely affordable, but gives you that option to free range. Or I do agree also with that 10 square feet per hen minimum. I refer to it as what we call the industry standard, where a lot of people can agree on that, but more the better, absolutely. So we got some more questions and comments coming in. Is it all right if we go to that? Dalia, you
Yes,
good?
please.
All right.
I'm good.
So okay, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, somebody asked with the recent flooding in Bellingham, how did you keep your chickens dry? I know you have ducks
I
too,
am
though.
so fortunate. My old, I just moved from the suburbs, so my old chicken yard would flood frequently during the rainy season. And now we're just in a different area, and it was really a test. I was like, okay, I know the chicken yard was going to flood, and it didn't. Now I'm on very sandy soil, and so it drains really well. And I'm also, my chickens are on a slight slope, a really slight slope. So I try to tell people that when you're deciding where to put your coop, you need to think about the fact that chickens create erosion over time, especially if they're going to be in the same area for year after year. They create that erosion. So you need to calculate that in and decide how you want to mitigate that issue. And if you're having a problem, one thing that really helped me, and this is a temporary fix, but if there is standing water or mud in your run, that's really not a good situation. So I will use pine pellets. If you can find, like, they're horse pellets basically, but they're 100% pine. You want to make them 100% pine, and you can put that, and just use it sparingly, because when I first used it, I put a whole bunch and it expands.
Like popcorn.
And I do have some videos about, like, muddy chicken run hacks. So that's what I used to do. But where I'm at right now, we did not experience any flooding. Unfortunately, one of our team members, the Chickenlandia presidential advisor, her sister, they just lost their house. They just they bought a new home in Sumas, which is like northeast of here, and completely flooded. Everything destroyed. So yeah, it's not a great situation up here with the flooding, but we were very fortunate.
Thank you for that.
And thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some more questions too. I would love to get to that.
Mike wanted to know where she got the nest boxes on that picture that you had from your old coop. You have those, like, nesting boxes?
The professional picture?
I don't have those anymore, but those I got them at a local farm store. They're like plastic nesting boxes,
Right.
which I actually like, because you can just take them off the thing and spray them down. But yeah, and I think they're for sale on Amazon too.
So here's a question from Linda. In a brand new coop, do you put or lock your new pullets in the hen house for a couple of days, or do you recommend introducing them to the entire run and coop immediately? So she said, we're getting an American coop and we're ordering our baby chicks. So thank you for buying an American coop. Right?
Yeah, so hold on, real quick. May we pause for a second? All right. And hopefully I'm sounding okay. I feel like I'm doing all right. I could tell I'm starting to get a little weird. All right, so let's paint the picture. All right, she's getting baby chicks. All right. She's ordering an American coop. So you have a hen house and run combo, which I absolutely love that. Even if you're free ranging, it's so good to have the run. But we get this all the time, and we all have our difference of opinion. So I'm not going to say anything, but I just want to make sure people understand. All right. So you got your baby chicks coming, and okay. So you got, let's start with at the very beginning. You got your baby chicks coming, and let's say you already have your chicken coop. All right. What do we do? Dalia, what would you do? What would be your advice for people, or what would you do personally?
So they've been acclimated to the outside temperatures. You want to make sure that they're acclimated. And when you're putting chickens outside during this time of year, it might be a bit more of a process than when you're doing it in the late spring or summer, depending on where you live.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely that. If your coop, I'm not familiar with the size of this coop, but I assume it's probably a nice sized coop. You can put the baby chicks in the coop proper and start them out there for a few days if you'd like. But you can also, since it is an enclosed run and it's really predator proof, the baby chicks are going to be safe. If you want, you can give them access to their run. You just need to know that you're probably going to have to go out there and put them physically in the coop at night, because it's going to take them a little while to figure out that they need to go up, and that depends on their age and whether they were roosting by the time that you put them out there.
All right, so I may have been.
Some people will put a little LED light in the coop, and the chicks will naturally kind of go up towards the light, but you don't want to leave that on all night.
Right.
Yeah.
So I might have been a little unfair. All right. We're going to step back a bit. Okay. There's a lot of eye shifting here, because this is a topic Kristen and I don't meet eye to eye on, but I will always say
we generally do.
We generally do, but this always comes down to what's going to be best for the customer. Here's the pros and cons. So let's say, okay,
I think we all do, really,
all right,
generally.
Well, hold on. All right, we're going to step back again. All right, so we got the American coop. We're going to pretend it's spring. All right.
All right, and you got day olds.
You got day olds, and
where do you raise your day olds?
Where you raise
if
your
you don't have a broody?
Okay, hold on. You have a brooder set up, let's say inside your home, the best brooder in the world, and you have a chicken coop, in this case an American coop that has a hen house and a run. It's springtime. You have that choice. It's presented before you. Where do you take your baby chicks?
Oh, inside to the brooder.
Come on. Okay, go. Fair enough. Carry on.
You want to be, you want to just be there and hold them, but you
Oh
also
my
need
goodness!
to,
Did you guys set this up?
You would think. Yeah.
You also need to be aware that baby chicks generate a lot of dust.
Yes.
If you're keeping them in your house, you need to know that. If you've got asthma, if you've got allergies,
if you have standards.
Yeah. And after not very long at all, they start to standard breeds. They become little velociraptors, and they have wings, and they will try and fly out of your brooder. So that's something that I would just take into account, like what's the temperature outside,
Mm-hmm.
what's your setup outside. Do you have a way to keep them warm outside if they need it? How old are they? All that stuff.
I mean, they're just so cute when they're day olds. Like, you've got to have those in the house to look at. I mean, like, how can you put those outside?
All right, so let me explain. We might be throwing some people off here. All right, so that's I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
right,
so, that's like 100% agreement right there. Like, you're such an outlier.
And we're going to get back to Linda, because she's asking more for a specific, but I wanted to really kind of paint the picture and start this discussion.
And if I can say that I would really, they are so messy, and I don't know how many times I've said I'm never going to raise chicks in the house again.
Mm-hmm. So
next spring I would do inside 2 weeks, and then start to transition them maybe to the garage or for outdoor area. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. When I start noticing the dust and the dander, maybe it depends on how many. I'd start transitioning them out. But I've got to have them inside to watch when they're tiny, because they're so cute.
Right. All right. So
and you tame them. You have that interaction. If they're outside, you're not going to have
but
that.
How do you know? They can go outside.
I know, but
you should. I will say this. baby chicks, they, traditionally through their natural lives, they're supposed to be outside. They're supposed to have some time outside. And you do want to make sure that you're giving them gradual exposure to their outside environment, because that's how they're going to build resilience. So I would, even if you're raising them inside until they're, oops, here, I'm back. Even if you're raising them inside until they're 8 weeks old, you do want to put them outside to get that exposure in a safe area where you can watch them, and you be their mother hen. If they are distressed, then you bring them back into a warm place.
Yeah, I love using like just the wire, the top to like a guinea pig cage or something. You know those?
That's exactly what I use.
Yeah. I just put that out on the lawn on a nice day, and they give them some shade.
I'm really feeling like really connected with you. Like,
yeah. Like,
yes,
I
which
think
is
I'm
great.
going out west.
Yes,
Yeah.
which actually we're
Yeah,
going to
I
be
think-
soon.
Yeah, I'm going out
all right,
west.
so,
I'm not waiting for you.
May I now, please? May I now? All right. So here is what I think I want people to understand. Again, the important thing is figure out what works for you. There's pros and cons to everything. I am a fan of, if your coop is ready and it's not winter time, because I would definitely not advise this in winter, especially in the north, but it's springtime and it's starting to warm up. I love when you can use your hen house as the brooder, because it can be quickly modified to it. You do want to make sure they have everything they need to be a brooder. And then you can raise them in that and then slowly let them figure out on their own when they want to go down into their run. And then there's not that acclimation process from your bathtub, your garage, your basement, whatever, to the chicken coop. You know, I feel like you're going to have less problems of them learning to go back up to the hen house because they know that's home. Versus, I get what you're saying. And here's where people got to think about this. And I will agree. You want to spend time with your baby chicks. If you don't, and you think you're going to go out there and they're going to cuddle with you, maybe not. They're going to be chickens. But I have seen, if they really get used to you, that is a huge part of the enjoyment of having chickens.
Oh, yeah.
And your argument is, well, if they're out in the coop, you're not going to go out and see them that much. But if they're in your house, yes, I agree with that. But you can go out to your chicken coop and open up that hen house and be with them. But you don't have that transition period that you will when you raise them. So that's what I'm getting at there. And you just got to really figure out
I think if you have a safe way to offer supplemental heat if it's needed, that it's absolutely, that would be quite healthy for them actually to be outside. And then you go outside and spend more time outside.
not bad advice. No,
both of those are perfectly fine. It's like a hybrid of the same. So
yeah, but where I want to be really, what I just really want to stress is that you need to make sure that you are supplementing heat in a safe way. So if you have a nice safe setup like a Carolina coop, then that's a different story,
So I appreciate that. And I know people are going to say, well, what she means safe supplement? Because people were very used to those readily available, inexpensive 250 watt infrared heat lamps.
Yep, that's what we all started with until the new product came out.
Right. And you know what? We need to get sponsored by Brinsigs. We do mention them. We absolutely love them. I hate the ones that are the knockoffs from China. I'm not going to bad talk that company, even though I disagree with what that person's doing, because he'll buy everything that's a good product, whether it's from Europe or America, send it to China, they copy it, and here we go. And it's all over everywhere. We love the Brinsea product where it mimics that mama hen. It's a safe heat plate that they can go under.
The radiant heat, yeah.
Exactly. So, Dalia, I'm not sure if this is what you mean, but I'm going to assume that, yes, if you have your baby chicks out inside that hen house, that you're going to want to make sure when we say safe heat source is, again, go back to what did chickens do before coops were invented? What they went underneath mama hen. And we even had, I think we have a video of it, our customer in Michigan, she put feather dusters underneath it. So you really mimic the feeling of the feathers. So cute. And they're still warm, and it's a very safe way. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to or if there's any other safe ways of introducing heat inside your hen house just for the baby chicks. And let me also, and then I'll shut up. We're not talking about providing heat for the adult chickens. We're only talking about for the baby chicks because they don't have that ability yet to thermally regulate, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I truly hate knocking heat lamps because, my whole thing is making chicken keeping accessible, and heat lamps are cheap
Oh, yeah, they certainly
and they are very
Mhm.
accessible.
Right.
Okay. But they are also made cheaply. And literally, they can ignite just from having dust on them, they can ignite. And if you can imagine, a very hot heat lamp, and heat lamps get very hot, that if it falls into shavings or whatever substrate that you're using, or if a chicken flies into it or whatever, then that can create a really dangerous situation for not just your chickens but your family too. So I just want to make people aware. If you absolutely feel like you have to go in that direction, you need to just pull so much mindfulness into how you're securing that thing, because and keeping it clean, because it can be a really dangerous situation. And I've known people that have had coop fires and lost a whole bunch of chickens, or they've lost um they've lost their coop, and they've lost animals, and it's so devastating. I would never judge anybody for learning that really hard lesson, but I just want to let people know that if you can afford to get one of the radiant heat brooders, that's the safest route to go. And remember, there are people every year that are getting out of the backyard chicken hobby. And so a lot of times you can find these things in on Free Cycle classified or whatever other online classified. So that's something that I want people to remember.
Or borrow one, because not everyone broods
Yes.
chicks at the same time. I loan mine out all the time. I've got 3 different sizes.
Real quick, before I forget.
Wait, one more point. Like we were talking about the heat lamps. People don't know that you don't have to start out at a 250 watt red lamp. I've never had to use anything more than 100 watts. And I frequently use 60 watts or 75
You're
watts.
such a southerner. That
in
is
North
true.
Carolina, yeah.
Down here,
People
right.
assume, I've got to get 250, and then you've got dead chicks because you've got 250 watts over like a plastic tote.
Right.
And that's just too hot.
Right, and the baby chicks,
hot.
and even with the reptiles, I mean, just about any animal you ever raise, they will tell you if what you're doing is right or wrong. And with
Yeah.
baby chicks, it's real easy with the lamp. I mean, I hate to say it's common sense, but everyone does have to learn this, that they'll tell you if they're avoiding it, it's too hot, and if they're huddled up, it's too cold.
Yeah.
You want to find it where it's just right. But I do love the Brincy, that heat plate. And so I'm so sorry. Before I forget, Nan has mentioned a while ago that her mic is off. Is number 4 unmuted, or number 3? Are we unmuted on all of them? Because she hasn't had a chance to chime in. Okay, her mic is off. It's just not the same too but she is on a delay. I couldn't get her instant speakers to work for whatever reason. So it's already 1:20.
Oh my goodness.
If you can believe it or
We
not.
have to have Dalia on again.
We definitely have to have Dalia again. I see there's.
We'll go on site.
So you read my mind.
Oh.
Absolutely. We need to do a video together, and we'll talk again. And I tell you, I love everything you said, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. People know I have no filter. I just love that you have that same approach, that same thought process of just keeping it natural. And I tell you, it's just a great representation of what we believe in. And I think that's just so important because so many people, they get that bad information. And the other thing is, I want people to not be scared of getting into the backyard chickens, especially, they drive me nuts, and I get it. And this is why we're trying to do what we're doing is you got all these Chinese coffin coops coming in. All right. And then they lie to people. They're like, oh yeah, 8 chickens in this little coop the size of this, notepad here. And it's a lie. But they get it because they don't know any better, and they have all kinds of problems and predation and whatnot, and they end up probably getting out of it. And what we're trying to do, and I even see a comment here, which I don't like seeing it, but it's real, is, I can't afford an American coop. What do you recommend? And in the American coop, in my opinion, if you really try to outsource materials and your time and you will save money. We have people tell us all the time that went out and built their own, they would have saved money and time, which is also money, if they would have bought one of ours. And that's what we're trying to do. And it reminds me, okay, of Ingrid coming to the light side, not the dark side. She's getting an apple. She's like, they're so expensive. No, it's maybe windows are so cheap. Here's the point. When you look at an American coop or Cali coop, I'm getting there. Bear with me. They may come across as, oh God, those are expensive. It's if you're comparing to the cheap coops. But there's no such thing as a cheap coop. It's not a coop. So I guess it's just perspective and how you're looking at it. whether or not you think it's expensive or not, but we are trying to do everything we can to make it affordable. And I just love that Dalia has that very simple approach and when you're doing your research about getting into having backyard chickens.
Plus, we help people build their own.
Well, that's what this show is for, to be honest with you. And I want to help people build their own. And for the record, I say it all the time, people still do it. I'm not telling you to call us up and ask us for our recipe. I'm trying to inspire people, all right, and learn from us, whether it's the chickens or construction or whatever, so that you can build your own. Because if you're not going to buy my coop, I want you to build your own, you know. But it's these conversations and listening to this interview and this podcast, I think is so important because this is what people need to hear. It's not that complicated. If anything, if you complicate it, you're going to set yourself up for failure.
Yep. Dalia is a chicken
Agreed.
advocate. We are chicken advocates. And I just realized that everyone who has chickens is a chicken advocate. And we're all in this together.
Yes.
Just spreading the happy world of chickens to everybody. And you can't help. You can't help but talk about them and spread that, right? I mean, it's just
Exactly.
It's so fun.
All right, Dalia, thank you so much. We're going to have you back on. And I'm sure our listeners right now agree. I do love, and please, for our listeners, our viewers, give us feedback. Tell us what you want to see more. Dalia, thank you. Keep up the good work.
Welcome
You're
to
so welcome. And thank you for having me on. It was an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Chickenlandia. Welcome to chickenlandia.com.
Yeah.
Welcome to go there. Check it out.
Yeah.
I'll
Thank you,
put
Dalia.
links on our website. too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There'll be links on the website, links in the bottom of this video, probably links in the podcast, links in all the stuff that Ingrid does. Awesome. Thank you,
Okay,
Dalia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dalia.
Sorry, Ingrid's controlling the mouse.
I know.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was really
That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely want to get to the comments. I do know people appreciate that. It's why they're here. I don't want to avoid them. It's already 1:24. Also, I'm not sure if Nan is listening. I want to bring in the heater. I want to show.
Wow.
How'd you do that?
I don't know.
What'd you just do?
I just pulled the comment.
Well, hello, my trap. Not sure.
Oh,
what
that
just-
is cool that we can take one and
Yeah.
blow it
we
up.
we,
Yeah.
absolutely can. I just didn't know how to do it. We can actually star them. There's all kinds of things we can do with the comments. But yeah, let's bring that up. Let's make it bigger.
No, I'm trying.
I know.
Don't.
Oh, she gets so mad at me.
How will I learn if you don't let me do it? Silence.
I've learned to be silent.
Maybe Linda was also asking. I think maybe we got off track with her question. She might have just meant if she gets an American coop, I think we advise to keep them when they're young, just in the hen house, so they know for a couple of days, so they know that's where to roost, and then let them have, and then keep them closed up in the run, so they know that's safe. And
We absolutely did, and I just did that because I wanted to generalize to that point and then be specific going back to her. So you're exactly right. I want people to realize, there is different opinions and there's pros and cons. And what again, another reason why I love our coop is you have that ability. But now to go specifically to Linda, she's getting the American coop again. Thank you so much. I say yes, put them out there, close off the opening to the egg hutch, close off your chicken door. Use a heat source that is safe and a water source that is convenient for the baby chicks. Okay. And when they are up on those roost bars at night, which will be maybe after 2-3 weeks, they'll start trying to hop up there. They'll definitely start on the perch bar. But once you see them sleeping on that roost bar at night, to me, that's a cue to open up and give them the potential, the access to get down into the run. Don't push them out. Let them go down on their own, and they will. Chickens are such curious creatures, and I just find you won't have those struggles that you will if you're taking them from a brooder at 5 to 6 weeks and then introducing them out into the chicken coop. If you do that, I still advise putting them inside the hen house, doing the same thing.
absolutely.
Okay.
So Anthony wants to know what happened to the compressor and staple gun for installing the screen being shipped with the new coops. I'd like to know how to get them.
Oh, yeah, and Anthony, we talked about him a couple weeks ago quite a bit. I remember that picture. It's on the table for discussion. I feel good about it. There's some grumbles about possibly doing that. And here's the bottom line is people need to see the reason why we want to do that and the value. and how to present that information to them so they do see the value. I don't want to discourage people from buying our product by going, oh God, man, I got to go out and get now. I got to get a staple gun. I got to get an air compressor. What I'm trying to do is work with a vendor, a very large tool supplier, to make that extremely easy for them. Or if people are like, Matt, I already got a compressor. I already got a staple gun. Let me just buy the stainless steel staples from you. Perfect. Then there's a slight discount. But as we are working on it, oh my gosh, I was going to bring, do you have the picture of the whiteboard?
Ingrid sent it to me.
A little behind the scenes of what's going on here at Carolinas. Myself, Kristen, and Ingrid, we had our first meeting to start after 13 years of being in business, start being proactive. And we had to map out what it takes just to take an order. That was incredible. And what we're trying to do is make it so it's very easy to take that order. And I am a huge fan of, I want people to call. I want them to feel good about what they're purchasing. And they're going to have questions, but we are doing everything we can to give them the information they need without having to call us. And that's another component. If we introduce another tool that you're going to need is a staple gun and air compressor, how do we do it? So I want to do it. The question is, how do we educate the customer so that they know this is the best way to go? And they will always have the possibility. I mean, imagine this with the click and buy. You got to click, I have an air compressor and nail gun, or you got to click, no, I want to have my coop come with a nail gun or air compressor, or no, give me the furring strips. I love the hammer. You know, how do we do that? So that's
some people might want that just because it's less expensive. Some people might want,
or maybe you could hammer on maybe you could put on the screen.
That is an option. That is an option. But remember too, our long-term goal, especially when I see people, I can't afford an American Coop, that hurts. I'm trying to make it so the American Coop is as affordable as possible. And I can tell you, I'm scared. Lumber's going up again. Did I just hear non? Inflation's going through the roof, but we will have this full-on kit. If you want to save money, doing the full-on kit, that's going to be the most affordable way we can do it. But anyways.
So
Mike, meaning it's just all in pieces.
You're going to assemble everything. We're going to cut everything. Everything's going to be pre-drilled. We've done it before, and we have learned. We did it with the Carolina Coop.
Yeah, it's just a lot of parts.
It took us longer to do a kit but I think now with the American Coop and where we're at now here, we'll be able to do the full-on kit.
Mike asked if he could add a third roost bar to his American Coop to accommodate his chicken math. Bantams, Mike. Bantams.
Yeah, I've seen it done. It would definitely work if you had bantams. You just have to be. It's just a little tight, but it's possible.
Yeah, not the.
You'd have to take out the other ones though and respace them. Yeah, it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. Can you? Yes, it's not ideal.
No,
we get this question.
You gotta pace yourself, Mike. That's the problem. You're not pacing yourself. It's hard. It's really hard because when you start out with chickens, I was the same way. I wanted like every single one, and then you see all these chicken pages and all these new breeds and I had to reel it back until I had a broody, and that's how I slowly introduced them. And then when I lost some, and it's tough.
It is, and you could really, really be setting yourself up for failure. You got to be real careful adding too many chickens in there. So I can tell you.
What if we did something like that? You made, like, if these are the two roost bars, and you just made little extra ones in between?
So that's not a bad option. Yep, show that to everyone. I call that the fire ladder technique.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that like a stadium?
Nope, and then you have bleacher style.
Aerial view. So you've got the two going long ways, and maybe you just put a few short ones in between to make.
So
so that would add like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more.
Right. So here's the beauty of
spots.
I love how big our coops are. Is if you wanted to get creative, and I hope I don't regret saying this. You have enough canvas to work with to add to your drawing. You can put roost bars up higher. You got tons of headroom. You could do it. And you could also lower a couple. So it's kind of a hybrid of bleacher style. Because if you have them too close together, you could have potential problems.
Is there anything to screw them to? Because the nesting boxes are down low.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can. You can just put it right on that sill, just above the deep litter area. But when you get into bleacher style, which is a very common technique, the chickens may not be the prettiest ones that are in the outhouse that's on the bottom. If you
so
remember
they get pooped upon.
They get pooped upon. Yes.
Here's another good question.
Yes.
If it's cold and windy out at night, should I close the hen house door?
Oh, yes. Yes. Block the wind chill.
But I think maybe, what about the little opening in the run that you can leave?
Oh, the chicken opening.
Yeah. I would leave that.
I would leave that because that's never hitting them directly.
Exactly. Thank you. But
It's too low to hit them.
But yes.
Unless it's extreme cold. Extreme
Exactly.
cold.
We sell them for that reason. And you can, if you're worried about that, that might be an option. Buy the wooden door for your hen house chicken door, and you can just close them up. Do you have to? No. So thank you for saying that. It's not just me.
Dan asked if there's a delay for shipping the American Winter Storm Shields if they order now. We have
That
those?
is a question for, well, sales and non and production. I don't know. I tell you what, we're thinking about finally adding our 4th CNC to our arsenal, and one of them is just going to cut.
I think those are being shipped out in a reasonable time.
Okay. I know they're time consuming, and it doesn't matter. I want them available for people. So if someone
Because
was,
it is time sensitive.
all right, can we turn? We got to turn Non up.
Where is she?
All right, she is. I'm gonna say channel 4, mic 4. I'm not sure why not. No. That's her headset. Don't turn that up. Turn up the gain at the very top. No, okay, there we go. All right, Non. Again, there is a slight delay, so I think she said 3 to 4 weeks. But come again, please. Over. So she'll chime in here.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah, mic 4. Check.
Mic check.
Yeah, that delay.
Mic check.
Yes?
You're good.
Oh, there I am.
All right, so she'll chime in. How far out are we with the storm shields? I tell you, people love them. They are.
So run covers are taking about 3 to 4 weeks to ship, as per the New York shop where they are currently getting shipped out from.
Storm shields, we call them, no? And there's no reason why we can't cut them in North Carolina, too. I'm sure Eric would love some more overtime. So 3 to 4 weeks.
My apologies.
Yeah, and can we expedite run covers? There's no reason why we can't. Yeah, this is why I wish there wasn't a delay. But we'll press on. Yes, someone called me. Question mark, add a couple more. All right, so there was some more comments. Where are we at with the comments? I wanted to go back and, it is 1:35.
Yep.
This is where Ingrid's
And we do go back and answer questions afterwards.
As much as we can.
Right.
A lot of them are comments on what people do and stuff.
Right, but I want to talk about them. That is part of this show. I want to acknowledge. I want to, that's just a great way of thinking, is acknowledging their comment, even if it's not a question. And definitely love everyone telling us where you're from. And I noticed our audience picked up. Thank you. I don't know what you did. We got back up into the 40s. We need to grow the show. Got to grow the show. I love doing this show.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't know if changing the time slot is an option. And the podcasts are doing well, right? When you do the editing. So that is awesome. And oh, wait a minute. I want that heater in here. If Non is listening or someone, please bring in that heater. I did promise that I'm going to test it so you have it on video to show how to troubleshoot your 1,000-watt heater.
Stand by.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kim asked, I'm in Louisiana and have 10 chickens in a 12 by 16 covered run with a small Tractor Supply coop inside. My ladies like to roost outside the enclosed coop. Now that we might have some cold nights, do I need to force them inside, or are they okay roosting in the open? We rarely get to freezing, and when we do, it's never more than 8 hours or so.
Yeah, they won't go inside that coop because it's too small, and they don't have the feeling that they're roosting up high, so they just go to the top of it. And in Louisiana, I wouldn't be concerned whatsoever.
Thank you.
I have an open air coop here in North Carolina, and they are fine.
Courtney asks, what's the best way to stop a hen from sleeping and pooping in a nest box? Please help, it's driving me nuts.
Poop does not belong in a nest box. So that's definitely a concern, and it's based on bad habits. So you need to I would say, maybe close off that nest box if you have multiple nest boxes. So you can break that habit. That might help, but you're also probably going to have to move the hen to the roost where she should be sleeping every night for maybe several nights to 2 weeks.
Yep.
To get her trained to the right place.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. This thing is ice cold. This is what I thought it would look like. We have no power over here. So, Nan, could you do me a favor? Just plug that into an outlet where you find it. And they said it should warm up in about 3 to 5 minutes. So we're just going to acknowledge that. So again, if you just didn't see what we did at the beginning of the show, we were showing you how to troubleshoot the paddle heater. It's not the paddle heater. We originally sold the paddle heater. The heater for the water system. And you also need to do this. This is the advice from the manufacturer before winter to possibly reset if that relay is hung up.
So by freezing it and plugging it in is resetting it? Is that
Yes,
what you're
because it's
talking about?
drastic.
Okay.
It's almost immediate. It's kind of
Oh,
jog
okay.
it loose. So this is brand new. It should work. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's already warm. All right, unplug it. See, boom. So that's all it is. I mean, it didn't take long at all to have it warm up. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
So do you think people should do that
Huh?
the first time?
Woo!
Wow.
Wow. Not the first time, no.
The first time each season, I was going to say.
Yes.
Okay.
That is what the manufacturer is saying.
Okay.
And, it is that time of year. I would love to talk more about what do we do in the winter. I wanted to get in that.
We did that last week.
We did.
Yep, that was
had a
our last
topic.
week's show.
We
We
had a
did?
topic.
Okay.
Where were you?
I had that piercing headache, which
Oh,
was brought
yeah, that
on.
was the beginning of your cold.
Yeah. God, I hate being sick, and I never get sick. And I miss it. So what is the best way to stop hens from sleeping, pooping in the box? What did you say in a nutshell? What was your answer?
You got to take them out and put them on the roost
Yeah.
bar at night and get them back into a better habit.
Is it a
And I
chance that
said maybe even block off that nest box if that's her spot. That might break her from the habit, but you're still going to have to put her on the
or
roost
is there a
bars.
chance there's too many chickens, or she's getting picked on?
Well, yeah, there might be other reasons why. There might be reasons why she's in there, but it's still unacceptable. I don't
Right.
care what kind of excuses you have, little hen. This isn't where we sleep.
I know. I had to do that with little Midge.
Yeah.
So I got to put her up there at night. 'Cause she starts up on the roost bar and then before
Oh, well,
everybody else.
that's very difficult if she does it after you leave.
Yeah, she starts up, but then when everybody else goes up there, she gets kicked off.
Oh.
So I just wait till it gets dark enough that she won't jump down again and
Mm-hmm.
go back in there. But my coop is 15 feet from my house, so it's not like a big ordeal for me to go out there.
Yeah, and earlier when I said that the baby chicks were raising them in the coop was not a good place for the baby chicks. Those were first-time chicken owners, and they were at an estate where the chicken coop was being built pretty far from the house, and you had to pass the tennis court or whatever to get there. And I was like, you're gonna miss that, like. And they were first-time chicken owners. I was like, you're gonna miss a lot if you just have your chicks in the.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. And the idea is just to
And they were
present-
so excited. I just.
The other thing I did want to say, and I have no scientific proof of this, but I feel it's so true. When you put baby chicks outside, even in one of our coops, and I feel 100% confident in their safety, there is something about baby chicks being outside that just triggers predators, I think, even more.
Oh, their chirps and their cries.
Yes, they just know it's going to be even an
Yeah.
easier meal. So that's,
Oh yeah,
again,
that makes sense. That's
just-
nature.
yeah, it's just another thing.
It's like
to be-
the wounded rabbit sound, of course.
Exactly. That's another great point.
All right. Do you think we should start wrapping up?
Yes,
We've been on
let's
forever.
let's wrap it up. 141. It might even be the longest show. That means it's going to take even longer for Ingrid to do the editing. Next Friday, are we here?
Yeah.
Once again, I know Christmas is coming up. We got things coming up. I got to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I always look forward. I can't believe how fast these weeks keep going by. And yeah, so next Friday at noon Eastern,
Yes.
Maybe.
everyone's going to be here. No. Will you be here?
No.
Why not?
I need to sit in for Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to be?
Columbia,
So you're on vacation.
South Carolina.
Oh, that's right. Wait, we got an exciting week
you may
next week.
you may not be here either
Oh,
In
whoa,
Atlanta.
hold
because
on.
we have a big coop. Big coop site survey next Thursday.
Big
right
site
now.
survey.
Oh, so neither one of you are going to be here.
Yeah.
Did we tell Ingrid about this?
No.
No, it just came up last night.
Last
so-
night, big.
So we may not be here.
I think we will be. But I
Okay.
just want to share with everyone.
That we
We-
may not.
No, we have a huge site survey next week. We're pulling in all the big guns for this one. We're bringing Evan down. I'm feeling better. I passed my COVID test. That's another reason why I just wanted to make sure I was healthy. Kristen's obviously going to spearhead because you are sales. We're going to bring Evan in, the designer. I'm going to try to get Nan and I down there. We're all going to go down there
and sell it.
And I hope this is huge. It's going to be ludicrous if we don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
interesting.
All right. Have a great week, guys.
Don't
take care of your chickens and each other.
Ooh, I like that.
Non said that.
Oh, is that our new outro? Very nice.
I like
Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.